Okay, welcome to our second video tutorial on how to create expert guided tours through our exam papers. Okay, as you see here, I've gone to the NCEA website. I have typed in the correct number. So what I've done, I've gone to Google. I've typed in NCEA. I know the number of my exam that I was looking for, so I typed that into it. And what I then did was I found the examination papers. Okay, here I've gone and found 2009's paper, and yes, it is at level 2. But what I've also done in the background is I've gone through and I've also downloaded the assessment schedule. Now, the assessment schedule is a fancy name for the mark schedule, and as you can see, this is 2009's papers 1, 2. So I've got the exam paper and I have the assessment schedule, so I know exactly what all the correct answers are. I've gone through, and although you can't see it here, I've got a piece of paper beside me of this exam, and it's got all the correct answers on from the exam paper, so I know exactly what the correct answer in every situation will be. Okay, so I've gone through and I know this paper off by heart. It's all sorted 100%. I can go through now with my eyes closed and my hands tied behind my back and type in or draw in everything I need to know to make this answer perfectly correct. But not only that, I can also give really good feedback as well about why I'm doing these things. Like, for example, I've got lone pairs here on these sides here. Okay, these lone pairs of electrons are there because I know that my oxygen has got 6 electrons around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 here and 1 here. I can draw little wee notes in the corner to show that my hydrogen at the beginning only had 1 electron. Okay, but it's gone through different color paper and it's joined with an oxygen, and this oxygen had 6 electrons. Okay, notice I'm drawing them all in pairs. Okay, really important. And then another hydrogen came along and joined on, and now I have got my Water-Lewis diagram. Okay, then I can go through and say, remember that these bonds here, these single lines, is another name for a double bond. So not only are we going through and giving the correct answers to the entire test paper, we're also giving quick hints as we go through too about why that is the correct answers. Like, why is this thing here called a bent shape? Now, before we go on, let's look at this piece of software that I'm using. I'll just drag this down a bit so you can see the top bit. It is called PDF Exchange Viewer. Okay, for my class, I will make sure that that you have that on disk, or you can download it off the internet for free. This is the light version, and it is free. It's got this really cool thing here called a pen tool. As you see right there, it's got a rubber tool there, so if I make a mistake, I can go through and go, oh, that was wrong, sorry guys, I'm going to go through and rub that out. That wasn't wrong, that was actually right. But if I do something really bad, I can go through and rub it out afterwards. Okay, so rubber tool, pen tool, but there are other tools as well. Like, for example, let's say you want to go through and you've got some really cool stuff in there. I go through and go, now we need to do the Lewis diagram of the structure. That one there is the text highlight tool. I need to go through and draw the shape of the molecule. And I need to go through and name the shape. So in other words, I can go through and I can highlight text. Easy as. Cool little thing. Okay. There are other little things too. You may not actually want to just go through and write that on, because your handwriting might be terrible, or you might be using a mouse and find it really hard to do. So what you can do, you can go through and click the typewriter tool, click in there, and go straight. Whoops. As you can see, my font was a little bit off there. Caps lock on. So I can go through and type things in there. Or I can go through and put text boxes in there as well. Like, what's a text box? You click and drag, and then you fill the box with text. Okay, what would that one there be? That'll be tetrahedral. Now, you can go through and have this test paper completely annotated before you talk through it. And you'll be go through and point and stuff and all that sort of thing, which is great. Okay. Because if it's already annotated, you might have spent a huge amount of time already going through and drawing diagrams on here about the 3D structure here. You might have gone through and said, okay, this has got like a nitrogen in the middle, it's got sort of bonds coming out from there, bonds, oopsie. That's one thing I'm finding hard to work with this program, is that if you click on that and drag, you actually move other things. So if you go outside and then do the lines, okay, it's coming away as well. Go down towards it, and then dot, dot, dot. Okay, and then have chlorines around. Okay, so you might have spent a huge amount of time going through. Actually, I'm going to go through and clear it on the top. And done the perfect thing, all annotated ready, and just talk your way through it. Okay, so what's the shape there? Trigonal pyramid. Bond angle 109 degrees. Justification, blah, 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 blah. And you can go through it and draw stuff on afterwards if you want to. Okay, except of course there's no 109 degrees there because there's a lone pair at the top. Oopsie. Okay, so some more tools within this program. Here's something I found which is really useful. If you've got the pencil tool, right, you can go through and go right click and show comment style palette, and you can go through and create a highlighter. I'm going to get my default style here. I'm going to rename it pencil or pen, enter. Okay, I'm going to clone it, in other words make another one of it. I'm going to rename it, oopsie, rename it, and I'm going to call this one here highlighter. I didn't have a highlighter built into it, so here is a really cool way of making one. I'm going to make my highlighter green. Cool. I'm going to make my highlighter thick. And see this thing here, it's called opacity. It means you can see through it. I'm going to give it an 80% see-throughness, and I'm going to change it to multiply, I think it is. Let's see if that works. Okay, so if I go through and highlight everything now, can you still see the stuff underneath? Oopsie. Yep, that works quite nicely. And of course I can then go through and just change the colour of my highlighter after that if I want to. Cool. Of course, whatever you do, don't do black highlighting. That's pretty. Okay, so that's how to make an extra highlighter. You can also do the same thing here to these text boxes. Let's say you don't want a red background. Okay, right click. Show. Okay, you can go clone. And then you say, okay, I don't want a red outline, I want a black outline. And I want to be able to have a dotted line around the outside. And I want my line to be really, really, really thick. Okay, so if you want to, you can have that as well. How do you select these? You hover over the text box, you click and hold down, and then just go down to whatever style you want. So I'm left clicking and holding down, and then I can go through and do the original text box. Click, hold down, my new version. Cool. Now, that's probably all you really need, but there are other really cool little tools around, like little call out boxes. Okay, so wherever I click, it's calling out from there, and I can go through and type stuff in there afterwards. I can give myself little notes all over the place, like for example on the next page, I might have had a little note to myself because I keep on forgetting that this is chlorine gas, ... and I might have something, a little note to myself about that. I don't know why I'd say that. I can click the X, but that little note there, as I'm going through and talking about it, I can hover over it and give me a little clue. Oh, this is chlorine gas. Oh, that's right. This here is chlorine gas. Okay, and I give it a note there as well. Fluorine gas molecule dot dot dot. Click on X so I can't see it, but I just hover over it and there it is. Or double click on it and my note pops up. Great. So I can leave little sticky notes of myself all over the place as well, which is excellent. Now, of course, as we go through our exam as well, we will be talking about this little assessor strip on the side. What is an assessor strip? Okay. Oh, black highlighter. Let's get rid of that. Click, hold down, pen. And it's picture in colour, red. The assessor only part, delete. This is talking about the achievement, the merit, and the excellence. So as you're going through and do a guided tour of this exam paper, you'll be talking about the way that in order to get achievement in this particular question, you must, and of course you need to go through here and go, okay, in order to get achievement, I must have 2 Lewis structures correct, or, whoopsie, I keep on grabbing that, or 2 shapes correct, okay, 2 shapes correct, and I must also have 1 shape correct, or bond angle, or shape described in terms of correct number of regions. But of course I would have read this first, and I will just go through and talk about that here. Okay, that's not the only tool. Okay, while I'm in here, I've got another key I can press. These things at the top, I might not need those at all. In fact, they're just a waste of time up there. I can press the F11 key on my keyboard, and pa-ching, all those disappear, so I've got heaps and heaps of space here that I can go through and talk about things very, very easily and see huge parts of the exam paper. F11, if I press it back again, we'll bring it back so I can go through and pick other things out. Cool. Excellent. Now, have I covered everything? Yes, highlighter tool, call out boxes, text boxes, typewriters, sticky notes, pens, we're all good. Also talked as well about the way you get these exams off the NCEA website, okay, and the mark schedules are there too, and they're under assessment schedules. Okay, this is only one method that you may use to go through and do your guided tour of exam papers, but please do remember, don't make them too perfect. Okay, we want a quick guided tour of the paper. You may have to chop it up into 15-minute intervals because of course we have only got 46 seconds left, so I've got to round this up really, really fast, and that's it. Okay, I'm going to stop my video tutorial any second now, but remember, keep your video tutorials in 15-minute lots and make sure you finish way before the 15 minutes is up, because if you go over 15 minutes it won't be allowed to be put onto YouTube and we'll have to go through and edit something out, and that's a waste of time. Quick, sharp, snappy, lots of colour, lots of action, lots of talk. Okay, have an excellent day. See you next time.